The first whisper of danger came across the Pride Lands like a bitter wind, carrying with it the memory of old wounds. Kion felt it before anyone else, the subtle tremor in the circle of life, a warning that hatred had returned in a form more dangerous than mere anger or greed. King Zira had emerged from the shadows of the Outlands, driven by vengeance, consumed by a single, unrelenting purpose: to destroy the Pride Lands and avenge the past. Her hatred was sharp, focused, and unyielding, a poison that could spread faster than fire. From the jagged cliffs along the northern ridge, Zera observed the plains with piercing, calculated eyes. Her mane, sleek and shadowed, fluttered in the wind as she assessed the Lion Guard's defenses. Every movement of her followers was deliberate, coordinated to amplify fear, confusion, and doubt. "They think the circle is safe," Zera hissed, voice low but cutting. "They think loyalty and courage can stop me. Hate is stronger than courage. Hate never forgets, never forgives, and it always finds a way." Kion sensed the urgency immediately. 2. Summoned the Lion Guard to Pride Rock, their faces etched with determination, understanding that this would be a battle unlike any other. "Zera is coming," Kion said, voice steady but firm. "And she brings not just strength, but hate. We've faced fear, power, and chaos before. But hate is something different. It targets the heart, the trust, and the very purpose that keeps the circle alive." Fuli's eyes narrowed, tail flicking sharply. "Then, we show her that purpose is stronger than hate. We lead, we guide, and we protect, no matter what she throws at us." Vashti's powerful frame shook with resolve. "Hate can be destructive, yes, but it is focused on one thing. Focus can be used against her. We just have to act carefully, protect the circle, and stay united." Onos circled above, wings slicing through the early morning air, observing movement across the plains. The herds are already nervous. They sense her presence. Hate can spread like a shadow, infects even the strongest if they hesitate. Bunker's grin was fierce and determined. "Then we act with purpose. We show them that unity, courage, and determination are stronger than revenge." Kion nodded, chest tightening with the weight of responsibility. "This battle is not about force or speed alone. Hate is dangerous because it blinds, it corrupts, and it pushes even the strongest to extremes. We counter it not with fury, but with purpose, unity, and understanding." The first encounter occurred near a central watering hole, where herds had gathered for morning grazing. Zera and her followers had positioned themselves strategically, using the terrain to create bottlenecks and points of tension. The animals froze, sensing the hostility in the air. Herd influence was subtle but powerful: whispers, shadits, and controlled movements designed to provoke fear and uncertainty. Kion stepped forward, voice calm yet commanding. "Do not let fear or hate dictate your actions. Follow us. We protect the circle together." Fuli darted ahead, leading the herds along hidden paths and away from dangerous approaches. Best positioned himself between the prey and Zera's forces, shielding and redirecting with measured force. Ono's keen eyes guided movements from above, identifying threats before they became deadly. Bunga confronted the initial wave of attackers with calculated boldness, drawing attention without reckless aggression. Zera hissed from the ridges above, fangs glinting in the sunlight. "Purpose, courage, these mean nothing against hatred. The circle will fall because its leaders are soft, unrelenting in their naivety." Kion met her gaze steadily. "Hate destroys those who wield it. Purpose protects those who believe in something greater than themselves. That is why this circle will endure." The battle unfolded as a clash not of brute force, but of strategy and influence. Zera's attacks were precise, designed to spread chaos and disrupt cohesion. Her followers attempted to isolate herds, manipulate terrain, and create moments of panic. But the Lion Guard countered each maneuver with patience and coordination. Herds followed guidance instead of instinct, and unity began to outweigh fear and confusion. Zera lunged personally, her teeth flashing, claws extended. You think you can protect them? Hate is sharper than teeth, quicker than claws, and far more enduring? Kion dodged with grace, moving in tandem with his team. Hate can consume. Yes, but it blinds and isolates. Purpose illuminates the path, binds allies, and strengthens hearts. The first major turning point came at a narrow canyon where Zera attempted to trap a large herd. Her strategy was meticulous. Her followers moved in synchronized patterns, cutting off escape routes and intimidating the animals into compliance. But Kion anticipated her plan. Poorly led the herds along hidden side paths, Best blocked direct threats with strength and precision. Ono signaled alternate routes, and Bunga drew attention at critical moments to allow safe passage. Zera's frustration grew as she realized that her focus and hatred were no match for coordinated purpose. They adapt too quickly. Their unity defeats the sharpest hate. She hissed, leaping at Kion with blinding speed. Kion faced her calmly, meeting her strike with timing and precision rather than raw force. You underestimate the power of purpose, he said firmly. It guides, protects, and inspires. Your hatred can only destroy, but it cannot lead or protect. The battle surged across the canyon in a tense ballet of strategy and calculated action. Zera's attacks were dangerous, but the Lion Guard moved with precision, redirecting her efforts and protecting the circle at every step. Each attack she made was countered by foresight, unity, and calm execution, showing the animals that purpose could withstand even the sharpest hatred. By midday, cracks began to appear in Zera's strategy. Her focus on vengeance and destruction blinded her. To the adaptability of the Lion Guard, every attempt to corner or intimidate the herds was met with coordinated counteraction. Herds moved confidently, following the Guard's example rather than succumbing to fear or aggression. Zera hissed in frustration, lunging at Kion with reckless fury. Purpose cannot stop hate. I will destroy everything you protect. Kion stepped forward without hesitation. Hate destroys itself. Zera. Purpose builds, unites, and guides. That is why the circle survives, where vengeance fails. The Lion Guard converged seamlessly, neutralizing attacks while safeguarding every animal. Slowly, Zera's precision faltered, her rage becoming her weakness. Her hatred pushed her into mistakes, leaving her exposed. While the Guard's coordinated purpose allowed them to protect the circle without escalating violence unnecessarily, as the sun dipped toward the horizon, Zera retreated to a distant ridge, exhausted and frustrated. Her hatred had driven her, yes, but it had also blinded her. Strength and aggression alone could not conquer unity, guidance, and the protective force of purpose. The Pridelands had survived the first day, not because of strength or fury, but because courage, guided by purpose, had proven stronger than hatred fueled by vengeance. Kion stood atop Pride Rock, the Lion Guard beside him, heart steady, eyes vigilant. The lesson was clear. Hatred can inspire destruction, but purpose inspires endurance, courage, and unity. The circle had been tested, and it had prevailed. As night fell, the roar within Kion rested deep and balanced. A reminder that vengeance could never outweigh intention. And hate would always lose to those who act with clarity, resolve, and purpose. The Pridelands had endured, and tomorrow would bring new challenges. But the lesson was already written across every heart. Hate may strike hard, but purpose will always guide, protect, and endure. The circle of life had survived the first trial of King Zira's wrath. The battle was far from over, but one undeniable truth had been proven. Hate loses when confronted by unwavering purpose. And the Lion Guard would be ready for every test to come. The night did not bring peace. It sharpened the silence. Every shadow in the Pride Lands felt heavier. Every sound carried the threat of returning hatred. Kion stood awake beneath the stars, his eyes fixed on the horizon where Zera had vanished. Knowing that hate never retreats to rest, retreats to plan. Purpose had protected the circle today, but tomorrow would demand even more. Zera would not repeat her mistakes. She would strike where unity was weakest, where doubt could grow, where loyalty could be twisted into fear. At dawn, the warning came fast and brutal. Ono's voice cut through the calm like lightning. Zera's moving again. She's not attacking the herds this time, she's targeting leaders. She's turning animals against each other. Kion's heart tightened. Hate had changed its shape. It was no longer charging headfirst, it was whispering, manipulating, poisoning trust. She's trying to break purpose from the inside, Kion said. If the Pride Lands turn on themselves, the circle collapses without a fight. Across the plains, Zera moved like a living shadow. Her voice smooth and venomous as she planted seeds of doubt. "Why do you trust the Lion Guard?" she murmured to smaller groups. "Why should lions decide your fate? Purpose is just another word for control." Her followers echoed the lies, spreading fear disguised as truth. Animals began to hesitate. Some questioned orders. Others slowed their movements, uncertain whether protection or obedience guided the guard's actions. Hate was no longer loud, it was clever. Foley growled under her breath as she raced back to Kion. "She's dividing them," turning fear into suspicion. "Then we answer with clarity," Kion said firmly. "Purpose isn't control. It's responsibility. And we prove it through action, not words." 3. The next confrontation erupted near the marshlands, where Zera attempted her boldest move yet. She deliberately endangered a group of animals, forcing the Lion Guard into an impossible choice: protect them or expose Pride Rock to attack. Her laughter echoed across the water. "Choose, little king. Save a few. Or protect everything." Kion didn't hesitate. Purpose means protecting the Lion Guard split seamlessly. Foley and Bunga rushed to evacuate the animals, moving with speed and courage. Besht anchored the defense, absorbing attacks while keeping the marsh paths clear. Ono coordinated every movement from above, calling out threats seconds before they struck. Kion stayed centered, anticipating Zera's true target. She struck at him directly, fury blazing in her eyes. "Your purpose makes you predictable." "No," Kion replied calmly, bracing himself. "It makes me reliable." Their clash was fierce, claws and strength meeting discipline and balance. Zera fought with raw hatred, every strike fueled by rage and obsession. Kion countered with control, using timing and awareness rather than brute force. Each moment revealed the difference between destruction and direction. Around them, the Pride Lands watched. Animals saw the Lion Guard choosing protection over power, unity over dominance. Doubt began to crack. Suspicion weakened. Purpose became visible not as command, but as service. Zera snarled as her followers faltered. "Fight! Hate makes you strong." But hate had begun to fail her. Without unity, her forces hesitated. Without trust, their coordination collapsed. They attacked alone, driven by anger rather than strategy. And the Lion Guard responded together, every movement reinforcing the strength of loyalty. The final turning point came when Zera, blinded by rage, she launched herself toward Pride Rock, abandoning her followers to strike at the heart of the circle. Kion followed, the roar stirring within him not in fury, but in resolve. "Leave this place." Zera screamed as they faced each other atop the stone. "I will rule through fear if I must." Kion stood firm, his voice steady. "Fear cannot rule forever. Purpose always outlasts it." The roar echoed not as destruction, but as warning. It forced Zera back, not to break her, but to stop her. The Pride Lands fell silent as she retreated, hatred burning but weakened, exposed for what it was. A force that could not inspire, only consume. As calm returned, the animals gathered, no longer divided. Trust had been tested and proven. Purpose had not only protected them, it had united them. Kion looked out over the Pride Lands, understanding now more than ever that leadership was not about power, but about choice. Hate had tried to rule through fear. Purpose had answered with unity. And the circle of life stood stronger because of it, ready for whatever darkness dared to rise again.